Sandhya ji, I make you the host here, so you have the privileges. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Prakash ji and Sunil ji. Wonderful session on faith again, which is like again an evidence of grace that we are getting to ruminate upon the same topic in all the classes. So over to you, Nitin ji. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you. Thank you, Prakash ji, for a wonderful session. We are, like we said, it's probably not coincidental. We've been talking about faith as well. And it was good to see so much of reiteration around that concept. In fact, the current shloka and the next shloka, they have all to do with faith or lack of it. If you don't have faith, what happens? Lord Krishna is talking about that only. So thank you again. Welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening. Is my audio video okay so far?
Perfect.
Okay, good. So I hope it continues that way. So a very warm welcome to all of you. Let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and then we will get underway. So give me a sec. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let's get started like we always do with our opening prayers. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Okay, so Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. So we'll continue on the topic of faith. We will conclude this shloka today after a pretty prolonged and a detailed discussion on the levels of faith and the different stages of faith and why faith is important. Today we will conclude it because for us to acquire faith, we need some important entity in our life, and that is what we're going to talk about. So let's get started with our soul soup segment. We are on the topic of happiness, success, happiness, and fulfillment series. As part of that, we've been talking about stress, what causes stress and how do we need to deal with it. And we spoke about the concept that stress is not caused by work, but our attachment to a particular outcome. And then we said in order for us to uh, ward off stress, we need to do Karam Yoga. We need to focus on the process, not think about the results. And then we spoke about how do we bring in that consciousness of thinking about God while we are working. So in continuation of that, we are going to tackle a few questions that are very common, that comes to everybody's mind. Okay, you're telling me to practice Karam Yoga. How can I perform well without thinking about the results? That's the first question that comes to everybody's mind. And then the second one is think about God and work at the same time. How can you do that? Like if you're a surgeon, or if let's say you're an IT professional who's supposed to write a very complicated code and your exceptional handling is not working, how can you think about God at that time? Right? Or if you have to perform a surgery of, let's say, somebody pretty important, everybody's important, but let's say super important in this case, then how would you focus on the task at hand while you're thinking about the God at the same time, right? So the first one, we'll briefly touch upon that. Perform well without thinking about the results. Yes, when we focus on the process, it is counterintuitive. When you want to focus on the process and do your best, there's a good potential or a probability that you might outperform yourself when you do that. On the other hand, when you're thinking about the results, it may paralyze you, right? Think about those surgeons who are pretty proficient in their performing surgeries, but when it comes to performing a surgery for their own son or their own relative, their hands start shaking. And that is why a lot of leading doctors, they don't do it themselves. They would rather ask one of their friends whom they trust to perform that. Why? Because now they're becoming nervous. Why they're becoming nervous? Even though they were doing it very proficiently otherwise, that is because now their attachment has come to the results. What if I go wrong? What if it doesn't succeed? What if, right? All the outcome related thing is paralyzing them. Same thing happens, when it comes to a neighbor's child or a child whom you teach in school, you focus on the process, teach to the best of your ability. If they fail, so be it, you say. But when it comes to your own child, you get hyper, you get very excited if they don't perform well because now you're attached to an outcome. Same thing happens with nurses also. They crank out babies after babies because they're not attached to it. They're performing it just as a matter of their duty. But when it comes to their own child, it actually changes the dynamics in the head. And that is why you actually can perform really well when you don't think about the results, focus on the process. A lot of people who are successful in life, they talk about the same concept. So if they are successful implementing this principle, which has been stated by Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago, there's no reason why we have to doubt that as well, right? So just focus on that process, do your best, and leave to God. The rest is the key thing. Now, the other thing is think about God and work at the same time. How would you do that, right? Now, Arjun fought the war, which required a lot of skill and sophistication. It's not an war where you are fighting against people of the caliber of Bhishma, Karna, and so many other warriors. And how can you think about God at that time? So when we say think about God is your attachment, your hook, part of your brain has to have a, what do you call that, a hook to God. You can't think about God and do the work at the same time, but that hook is there. Now you say, what is that hook? Hook is like, if a mother is teaching in a school, do you think for even for a second she would forget that she's a mother of two? She will not. Uh, that knowledge is so deeply embedded that you don't lose that even for a second. Like, do we forget whether we are a boy or a girl or what my name is or who am I? Okay, not in spiritual sense, but we don't forget our own self, no matter what we are doing. So this is a consciousness that needs to be deeply embedded in us at all the times. And it's the attachment aspect of it, which Lord Krishna is talking about, right? Attachment means you could be doing some work, right? When I told it through a story that there was a boy who wanted to marry a girl. And when he goes to the father, says, I want to marry your girl, he said, you first have to earn six-figure salary and have to be at least a manager. Then only I'll give you my girl. Now this guy goes and starts working hard in office, right? He's working hard. So for his managers, for his people around, this guy is working hard, very professional, doing his job to the best of his ability. But what is his motive behind the scenes in his head? I want to marry that girl. So that is where we might be working hard. It's not that we don't work hard, we take it carelessly. But our attachment or the big picture around who are we working for? What am I working for? That has to be riveted to God, is essentially what Karam Yoga is. Okay, yes, Rahul, you wanted to say something before we proceed with our shloka?
Can you hear me, Nitinji? Radhe Radhe.
I can.
Yeah. So a quick question, like when there are deadlines in the spiritual seva world and the your workspace, then how do we tackle this? Because we are trying our best, but sometimes the work gets stuck and the deadlines are approaching, they are not going away. Then our mind starts playing tricks, and yeah, then there are some issues there for sure.
True. Here also the same principle applies. You do your best and be solution oriented rather than finger pointing. Swamiji coined a term. In fact, I heard it from his called divine stress. Okay, so that divine stress is good. End of the day, see what happens is even in the Seva world, there are deadlines, of course, but you try to do your best. Things will fall in place. We have pulled off programs here, like Diwali and Holi of a scale where, if you ask me, if I were to think about this as a project or a program like we do in a corporate world, it had thousands of failure points. Thousands of failure points. Okay, anything could fail and it can bring the entire program down or the experience down. But with experience, you understand, you do your best. You can do only your best in the good bhav, because that's end of the day, God and Guru will pull you through. Not that you become complacent, they will pull us through. You still do your best, given the situation that you are in, understanding end of the day, you're doing it for them, and they know what your intention is and the bhavs that you are approaching it with. So that stress would be there, but put it in perspective quickly. Do your best and leave to God the rest. Even in those situations, you don't have to stress out. You may have dependency on 15 people. They are not doing their job. What are you going to do? Are you going to mess up your bhav? and say, oh, this is not doing, do blaming around it, do whatever is possible, feasible. You may get answer from 2. Work with that. Follow with 13. Doesn't work, right? But you continue to push along and do as best as you can, even in this case. But that stress is better than your material stress, because now at least you are doing it not something for your own sake. You are doing it for a bigger picture here, right? So in that sense, it is that experience is also very purifying. The key is not to let our bhav go southwards in this process. With our experience and with our, because it's an opportunity, unique opportunity that you're working on. Even here, if we become negative, bitter, and fall into the same traps like we do in material world, then it's a lot lost opportunity in that sense. Okay, so with that said, let's move on, get to our shloka. We are going to conclude this shloka today. A lot of content to cover, and we have something exciting coming up as well. I've been told, there's going to be a very special Gita Jayanti testimonial coming up, but that can wait for now. Let's move on. I'm going to recite the shloka, and then we'll pick up maybe 3 hands or so who have turned their videos on today, because we have a lot of content to cover. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara sanyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhigacchati. Okay.
Shyamji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara sanyatendriyah jnanam labdhava param shantim achirena digacchati. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice. Thank you. Radhe Radhe Shyamji.
Udayji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparah sanyatendriyah jnanam ladva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, thank you. Okay, let's take, all right, we'll pick Ramesh ji, Pragi ji, Riya ji, and Sandhya, all of you. Let's do that quickly. I'll make up for it.
Okay, Radhe Radhe Rameshji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, thank you. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparasanyatendriyah jnanalabdhva param shantim achirenadhigacchati. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to hear from you, Ramesh ji. Thank you. Okay, let's take
Pragi ji,
Good.
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, thank you. श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परा संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति. Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Riyaji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparasayatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhigacchati.
Thank you, Riya ji.
Thank you.
Radhe Radhe.
Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति.
Very nice. Thank you. So let's move on. So we've been talking about knowledge and faith, right? So on one hand, you have knowledge. Knowledge begets faith. Right? And then the faith, it begets knowledge as well. It works both ways, right? Both ways. Get more knowledge, more faith, more knowledge. It just continues to work, right? When you have faith, when you put your faith in a knowledge, this divine knowledge that we're talking about, by the way, this knowledge, just by listening to this knowledge on a consistent basis, can have a transformative and a purifying effect. We'll continue to talk about it. So this is how it works. They are mutually reinforcing, and this continues. Now let's move on. Stages of faith we spoke about yesterday. Okay, all these stages are there. Now there's a faith and there is a firm faith, right? Now, what is the difference between this aspect? I think this is one of the questions that was probably not tackled yesterday. The firm faith is nishtha. What is the difference between shraddha and nishtha? It starts with the faith where you say, okay, I want to explore it because it's a wisdom everybody talks about. I think it makes sense, and that's how it starts. But then that faith is a little brittle. Right now, you have not really formed it up as yet. So, like Swamiji says, right? What is that quotation he used? He says, "Kuch shraddha, kuch dushtata, कुछ संशय कुछ ज्ञान घर का रहाना घाट का ज्यों धोबी का स्वान." That means, for the benefit of people who don't understand Hindi, kuch shraddha, a little bit of faith, kuch dushtata, a little bit of manipulation, a little bit of knowledge, and a little bit of doubt. We keep fluctuating in all of these. So we are neither here nor there. If we had complete faith, now what is the difference between this faith and the faith that you get firm faith is like you continue on that path. You don't take a U-turn. It's not like you start, doing multiple things. You have a little bit of faith, little bit of doubt, and then there was a but or however came and you stopped. When you continue to progress that little bit of faith is going to become a firm faith. That is like, this is it. You're intellectually convinced, right? There's a 3-step process we spoke about where you do chintan. So now you're doing the chintan on that faith, then manan, contemplation, and then nididhyasana, where it comes, yes, this is it. You're intellectually convinced. You don't need any more thing, right? You know that God is there. Okay, you just know this needs to be done. So you reach that stage. So firm faith is that you are absolutely clear. There are no doubts whatsoever at that point. So that is the difference between these two. I hope that answers. And then what else was there? Performance of devotional service that we do, bhajan kriya. Yeah, so that I think we have already spoken. Is there any other question on that? On any of these? What is the difference between this and that?
I
Yes.
had one, like ruchi, like taking interest in bhajans and the bhajan kriya.
Which is this taste. Now you have developed a taste. First, it's like somebody who starts drinking, they don't enjoy it initially, right? They're doing it because it seems cool. Everybody else is doing it and they think there's some kind of a kick or happiness in it. And after that, they crave for it. It's like nothing like that particular drink that whatever they get hooked onto. So ruchi means now you have developed, it's like a taste. You need it. You want to hear more of it. You want to hear more of it. Speak more about it. You start relishing that process itself. Ruchi means now you haven't developed interest in. Please, it is one of the things you like this as well, that as well, right? Like that bull we talk about. You feed him ghas foos and you feed him good. It doesn't matter. Both it enjoys. But in this case, now you have developed selective taste. Do you enjoy this? And other things have already getting weeded out, right? Because we said that habits have already, anarth nivritti has also started happening. So ruchi is a little more stronger, preferred taste as opposed to something that you are relishing and experimenting with initially.
So can we say it's like addiction, dependence to some extent?
You can call it a divine addiction. Yeah, that's true. That's all you want to hear about. So yeah, those people basically, they don't relish gossiping and other things at that point, right? It's like, okay, what's kind of a noise is happening here, right? So they will continue to have their own job. When the worldly matters start coming, they'll probably acknowledge, just to make the other person feel comfortable. Yeah, you've been attended to, but you don't really relish that at all. It's like you feel out of place and you want to hear more of God. They say that their ears become like an ocean. Keep on taking, okay, you tell them Ram Katha 1,000 times, they will still hear it with the same eagerness. It is said that whenever the Ram Katha is being narrated, Hanumanji actually comes and sits there. So there's an asan that is kept for them. Just imagine how many times he would have heard Ram Katha. Just imagine how many times he was actually part of that avatar kal. And after that, so many people have elevated themselves just by reciting Lord Ram's name or his Katha. And if you just imagine how many million, billion, trillion times he would have listened to it, but he still sits and listens. That is the nature, you start you don't get bored of it, right? Anyway, it's a divine knowledge. You cannot get bored of it. It's like a Pacific Ocean. That is the biggest one, right? Or Indian Ocean. Now you go with your glass based on your capacity, you get into it. Will you get the entire ocean? You will not. You will get whatever is the amount of your glass or the size of the glass. Now your glass has increased. As you keep on doing spiritual practice, you will get more and then more and then more and then more, basically. So there's no limit to what you can extract. And that is basically manifests in form of interest. You just want to hear that more and more of it. And it's in Sanatan Dharma only you get so much of logic. It's not faith when we talk about it. It's not like, do you believe? And it ends at that, right? Like if you go to some of the other traditions, they say, do you believe? That's it. Now here, it's like going a step further and saying the whole theory behind it, why you need to believe, how it unfolds, the process, everything is provided. So there is a basis for that belief also that is provided. And that is why it's scared. It is not a blind faith, but more of an intelligent faith, so to say. Now let's move on, continue on our topic. What is worthy of our faith is the key thing, right? Now, Jagadguru Shankaracharya has defined faith as Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Dridho Vishwasa Shraddha. He's defined Shraddha as faith means firm confidence in the words of the Guru and the scriptures. Now, Shankaracharya says that to have a firm decision in the knowledge of scripture and instructions of the Guru, they are coming from a transcendental platform and they are free from the material defects. It's not a human who's just telling, because now you're not intellectually capping yourself to the understanding of that human who may not be even human, God realized at this point, right? So that is why this knowledge is super special. And if we put our faith in Shastra and our Guru, then our path starts getting illuminated. Now, how does it get illuminated? Like this, you see? It's a nice illumination that is happening. I love this animation, by the way. So this is divine knowledge, and this is our intellect, which is getting illumined. So if you like this, just imagine your intellect getting illumined for every day, a little bit more, okay, which is pretty fascinating, right? So yeah, this is the power of divine knowledge, which will keep on illumining your intellect, and this is the benefit we all are reaping on a daily basis, right? Now, okay, look at this gentleman. He goes to a guru and says, "What's the meaning of life? Make it quick. Got an important meeting in half an hour." Okay, that doesn't work. This is not how you will develop a faith. Okay. Now, this is a pretty interesting curve. I've spoken about it in previously as well, but it doesn't hurt to bring it again. So this is how it typically works. On one hand, you have confidence, and one you have competence, right? Confidence, competence curve. Maharaj Ji used to say, okay, maybe I'll bring it some other time, not maybe later. So this is how the curve goes. Ironically, this is how the curve unfolds in our life. Low to high, high to low, right? Know nothing and guru. This is how it goes. So this is the curve which unfolds. You look at the slope, the peak that you reach is peak of Mount Stupid. The lower your competence is in this matter, spiritual, the higher your confidence is. Okay, inversely proportional. So there is a saying in Hindi, बेवकूफों की कमी नहीं गालिब, एक ढूंढो हजार मिलते हैं. तो महाराज जी tweaked it. He said, बेवकूफों की कमी नहीं गालिब, बिना ढूंढे हजार मिलते हैं. So point here is, when it comes to spirituality, everybody becomes a guru themselves, right? So that is called, and that confidence keeps on increasing. The less you know, the more confidence you have, until you reach a peak of Mount Stupid, where you understand, oh my God, I had no clue about, what I was thinking all along. But it is a good state to be in. So when you reach a peak of Mount Stupid, after that you fall, and then it is a valley of despair. Oh my God, I don't know anything. What was I thinking? But it's a good moment. Not for everybody does it happen. They continue to sail through that confidence and waste another human life. But for some, they fall down because they get the humility or that aha moment that, you know what, there's still so much to be known. And the more I know, the more I realize how less I know. So then they start into that, and then they start picking up, because now they are getting the right kind of a knowledge, and it is called a slope of enlightenment, until you finally, reach a plateau of sustainability, and you would meet guru somewhere along the way as well. God only knows that algorithm. So this is typically how it unfolds. Okay. So if you are in that slope where, and you'll come across a lot of people who will have like, I have sorted it all, just listen to me. Okay. And they will not listen to anything, which is unfortunate, but this is how it goes. Okay. And everybody would have gone through that phase in their lives. I have, at least. I've never thought I've sorted it out, but you always have certain concepts, fundas in your life that you think are sacrosanct. It doesn't work that way. I think we need to first open up our vessel, or pour it back, and then only you create space for the real things to come in. And this is how it goes. Anyway, so this is, by the way, I've not created it. You can go and check it out. It's called Dunning-Kruger effect. It's called a hypothetical cognitive bias, stating that people with low ability at a task overestimate their ability. Okay, so this is applicable in spiritual path as well. It can happen because there are so many theories to subscribe to, there are so many concepts and all that, it's all over the place. And it's a wild, wild west if you go about it. Not truly a wild, wild west, but our scriptural knowledge, if you especially talk about Vedas, is more like a general store. You go to Walmart or you go to, okay, maybe you don't like to go to Walmart. If you go to Target or Costco, you have tons of stuff that you can pick and choose from, right? So our Vedas are like that journal store. It has knowledge and it has things for everything. Now, what you pick and choose is your prerogative, right? And that's where we need to continue to deepen our understanding around it. But yes, this is a pretty interesting curve. The reason I brought it is because we need to introduce an important ingredient here. Now, this guy, 6 cut it by 6, 4 came, you see that? And this lady, I love. Every time I look at her, I just love it, okay? It's very thoughtful. But whoever came up with. Now, the point is having Guru can help you avoid costly mistakes like these two people are doing, okay? Especially the person who's doing it on the right-hand side, because it is impacting some other life as well, right? In the case of left-hand side, it's a matter of temporary ignorance that can be eliminated, but Guru can help us avoid costly mistakes like these people are doing. Now, let's introduce that part. Now, when it comes to the matter of faith, of course, that faith, it has to start with a Guru or a knowledge, right? And let's talk about some red herrings on this path. Blind faith can be dangerous. It can be dangerous. Okay? If you put blind faith, you can even go on and become a suicide bomber as well. A lot of people ask, surrender, Sharanagat, how is it different from, people who go in and blow themselves up and kill other peoples under the name of a religious war? Now that is stemming from a blind faith. Okay, what is the theoretical basis for it? What is it that motivates to do that? Is it a allurement of swarg or something good for your family, or is it God realization? So there are a lot of loopholes in that theory in that sense. But blind faith can be dangerous. It can really be dangerous. Why? Because if you're simply going without having a firm understanding of these principles, one, kusang can actually derail your entire journey. So you might be listening, okay, Krishna is the Param Purush and he's God, and somebody will come and say he was a lumpert loafer, used to chase around girls and all that stuff, and your faith can start shaking, right? Mahakal is the real one. They will tell you, okay, forget about Krishna or go to Lord Ram. He was proprietary personified, conduct personified. So these kind of things can actually confuse you. And even the otherwise, right? There are things that they say, okay, this is evil, that is evil. Don't subscribe to that. Paranoid. They will fill you with fear. All those kind of things can happen. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from an intent? No. Everybody has good intent, unless, of course, you are a psychopath killer or somebody, right, who may be mentally deranged. Everybody has good intent. Where is the gap? Knowledge is the gap. And because of that knowledge, the faith, these are the gaps because of which all these things can happen. So blind faith can be dangerous. When such faith is placed upon a wrong personality, now let's think about it. Your spirituality is the most important business in your life. Rest all businesses are your side businesses that you have created for amusement, nothing else. The main business of human life is our spiritual journey. And if you repose a faith on somebody, you entrust somebody who's not qualified or who's not the right person, that there cannot be anything more dangerous for our spiritual journey, right? It is serious business, of course, and it can lead to disastrous consequences as well. But if you come across a proper guru, it can open up the path for eternal welfare. So blind faith is not a desirable thing. We need to do our due diligence around it. Like we do shopping, we do window shopping, we need to do guru shopping as well, to the best of our ability, of course, with good intent. But once something gets stuck, it's important to continue to move on, and God will firm up that faith as well. The key thing is to have a good intention while you're seeking God. Is it for material gains? Is it, your secret wish list is your actual goal is world via God, care of God, or are you seeking God for God? That can make a huge amount of difference. If you go back to the Mahabharata story, when Arjun and Duryodhan both went to Lord Krishna, so Duryodhan actually asked Lord Krishna for his, naval fleet. I mean, it was like a very strong army at that point, his Chaturangi Sena. So he asked Krishna for what Krishna could give him. He asked God for what God could provide him. And Arjun asked God for God. That changed the dynamics. Now, if we think about the story, if you think about it, we are none other than not modern day Duryodhans only. When we go to temple, what do we ask God? We ask God for what God can give us, like Duryodhan only. How many of us are actually come to this knowledge? I mean, at least I didn't. This is what I was told. My mom is sitting here, okay, she's looking at me. Okay, go and ask for this, and this will happen, right? So I did that for most part of my life until I came across this knowledge, and then it started making sense. Don't ask God for anything. Ask, He already knows what is best for us. He'll anyway give us what is there in our prarabdha, and He will not give us things which are pleasurable. He will give us things which are beneficial, and we cannot bribe God into it, right? Kind of a deal. Okay. And then, so the point here is we need to deepen our faith in a guru once we find proper guru, because the guru will tell you proper knowledge. Otherwise, you will be roaming around with your own set of knowledge, which people are telling you, your elders are telling you, Google is telling you, friends are telling you. So guru is an important entity in our life which needs to be added. It will happen in due course of time. You can only work on your intent and then surrender to God under His guidance, and He will tell you the technique of how to proceed in the journey of surrender. You on your own cannot. It's like you go to a car mechanic, they know what needs to be done, right? You go to a doctor, you follow them, you become surrendered to them. You don't, doctor tells you you need to take 2 tablets for 5 days. And if you use your intellect, say, I'll take 10 on one day, it doesn't work that way, right? So you need to work under the expert guidance of a guru, and then this process will start unfolding. So pani piyo jankar or guru banao jankar. Okay. So use your intellect. Yes, you need to use your intellect. See what appeals to your intellect, what is starting to get. Confirm right guru. Somewhere something will click. Deepen faith in guru, and then surrender to God and guidance. This is how the process unfolds. So you have to use your intellect, of course. More than you finding a guru, guru will find you. More than you finding the path will find you, because it's it's not the first time in our human life that we are practicing spirituality. Our faith could not become 100%. Sanshayatmak buddhi we are going to talk about in the next shloka. And we are not sanshayatmak, we are not skeptical or doubtful, but that faith, it's a bit of a journey, right? It's not 100% as yet. There's a however, there's a but, something is coming up, our intellect is impeding it. So use it initially until you come across somebody whom you think has the credentials to be your guru, and then deepen faith, and then start working under his expert guidance, carrying out the instructions, and that will help you increase your surrender in this life. And perfect that surrender as well. So this is how the process will unfold. Now, if we further talk about it, this is reiterated in 4.34. Right? Arjun had asked this question, and then Lord Krishna had said, Tad vidhi pranipaten pariprashnena seveya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. That you need to surrender your intellect and render service to such a guru. And what is the qualification of a guru? The spiritual master needs to have 2 qualifications. Not something in the material side, like you have qualifications, MA, BA, BTech, MTech, PhD. Similarly, guru needs to have 2 qualifications: Shrotriya, scripturally well-versed, and Brahmanist, practically realized. Both theoretically well-versed and practically realized. So these 2 qualifications, if somebody has, then that can be your guru, and because they have seen the truth. It's very important that they have seen the truth. That is the key thing. Other thing is, guru could be an Einstein, but if he's teaching a kid, he will tailor the message so that it is palatable for the kid. Okay, that is why different traditions have emerged. Now, people say, if God is one, why do we have so many traditions? Why do some people worship Jesus, some go to Pegambar, some have some other thing? It's like really depends on the time, place, situation, circumstance that the saint has descended, and what is appropriate for that time and that audience. Okay, E is equal to MC square, a kid will not be able to relate to, right? For example, in Bhagavad Gita, if Krishna starts talking to Arjun and says, hey Arjun, you don't have to speak a lie, be honest, Arjun will say what kind of a message it is, right? So if you think about Bhagavad Gita, where it starts from the that understanding. First, get to know who are you, soul, and that is where it keeps on building. So the message is appropriate for that particular time and the audience that it is being narrated to at that point, and that is where different traditions come. So that needs to be understood. So that doesn't mean the guru knows only this much knowledge. Guru who's realized would know everything. but they would pick up stuff that is appropriate for the audience and in a manner that can make sense to them. For example, Guru Nanak Dev, he did not even choose Dev Bhasha, which is Sanskrit. He chose Lok Bhasha, which was Punjabi. In very simple terms, he gave, distilled some of the esoteric principles of our scriptures in a very simple language and presented it to people so that they could utilize it and change their lives. And look at now, just by these two buzzwords, Nishkam Seva, so many people have transformed their lives, right? Nishkam Seva, that's all. Go to any Gurudwara, you'll see that. So this is where the teacher's credentials come into picture. They may have all the credentials, but they would make the message which is palatable to the audience so that they can actually progress from that sense. Now, if you don't approach a guru with the humility, or tadvidhi pranipaten means surrender your intellect, you're going to challenge them, be skeptical, the knowledge will not flow in that case. Even then, your knowledge will elude you. And the faith is something that is needed, of course. It's a journey of faith. It starts with faith, but it's an intelligent faith. And regardless, we have spoken about that faith is something everybody exercises in all the walks of their life, right? Whether we go to a restaurant, we go to a barber, we sit in a car, we are boarding a flight, we are putting faith in somebody that is going to do what it is supposed to do. And same thing happens in this journey. It starts with faith, but then it can lead to so many things and realizations that faith would be justified. Now let's move on. Knowledge is revealed within. This is the beautiful one. Now Shvetashvatar Upanishad says that this knowledge that we are talking about, it's already there in your heart. And that whole thing is revealed within your heart. How cool it is. You don't even have to get it from outside. It will just be revealed within you. And that unflinching faith towards God and Guru would also manifest automatically without you having to. Of course, you're putting in effort, you're working on yourself. And as it keeps on getting purified, the knowledge will also keep on increasing. Your realization, your unflinching faith, everything will be a direct consequence of it. And now, how can we tell we are building faith in God and Guru and then divine knowledge is getting revealed? Right. So there are two aspects. One is you have a toothache, you go to a doctor gives you a temporary anesthesia, and you are fine, right? So this is one way something has happened, right? So this is a temporary peace that you have gotten, or temporary relief, so to say. And then on the other hand, you have stress, anxiety, worries, and anger, and so many other things that are afflicting you. And when you subscribe to God and Guru and the divine knowledge, you start seeing a transformation there. And you start seeing it has started decreasing. Your happiness quotient has started increasing. Your satisfaction, content, the way you look at the world, your perspective, everything is undergoing a transformation. Then that is a more lasting peace than that would intuitively tell you that you're on the right path, right? So one, if you look at it, is symptomatic. The other is hitting the root cause. So this is a sure shot. It's like proof is in the pudding. You focus on a process and see where it takes you, and that is how this process unfolds. So if you come in contact with the true Guru, you will see that, that knowledge, if you start subscribing to that knowledge, it starts making sense. It will start bringing you closer to the true and perfect peace. And also the transformation that you've always been seeking. And especially if you have come in contact with a Rasik saint, one of the direct consequence of that would be the seeds of devotion would be sown and it will be nurtured on an ongoing basis, which would manifest in form of love for God. You will start feeling an attraction towards God as well. Okay, so with that said, I know I just hurried it through today. There was a lot of content, but guess what? We have time now. Any questions on what we have spoken? I know we spoke a lot today. Anything related to what we spoke today?
So there is a question from Ravi ji. Find a true guru who has seen the truth. What is the truth that we are talking about?
Truth is glorious. Okay. Let me try to explain the truth. By the way, please fill out the feedback tracker. Please post it, if not already. Who has seen the truth, right? That means, truth means they have accomplished whatever is there to be accomplished, right? They become God realized. They have the perfect source of knowledge, and there is nothing else to be known after that. Okay. Now, if you have merged with God in your journey, have you seen the truth? Can anybody answer that question? It's a pretty profound question. Yeah, Sandhya, you have seen the truth? You're shaking your head.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
they have also seen the
You've seen the truth. You think that would mean seeing the truth, right? No. It is still not a, it's basically an elevated truth close to, yes, you have become God realized. That is perfect. But have you realized God in its entirety? No, still not.
that is,
You
yeah.
have not, you have realized God only in form of light. So I've heard Swamiji, he says that is also not complete Gyan. A Gyan Yogi, moksha is also not, because you still don't, you have still not experienced the ultimate bliss of God. So it is truth, but yet if you look at it, it's not absolute truth there, right? So who has seen the truth, it's pretty relative in that sense. So yes, I would limit it to the definition. Anybody who has realized God has seen the truth. Anything less than that, it is not the truth. Right? If you want to extend it further, I would say anybody who has realized God in personal form have seen the truth. Okay, so this is what truth is. And that when you say somebody who has seen the truth, that means they are beyond the clutches of Maya. They are a done deal, right? And then at that point, there is nothing else there which is there to be accomplished as a Jivatma. So that
So
is what realizing the truth means, a seer here.
can it be said that it is like truth in both cases, but it is ras is different, like how you are.
I mean, it now we are making that definition a bit subjective. Yeah, it's truth actually. You have realized God. Rasas are different, but yeah, I would say the complete truth is still something is still hidden, right? Something is
The
still
full
hidden.
form is not, yeah, right.
That's it's still not a complete truth. So yeah, it depends on how you look at that definition. But yeah, one in this particular context, truth is somebody who has become God realized, who have become Satchit Anand, who has eternal peace, bliss, knowledge, and eternity, right? So in that sense, anybody who has achieved that has seen the truth.
And there is a follow-up as well from Ravi ji. Like it's realizing God means seeing God or knowing God or both.
Both. If you see, you can see God only when he bestows divine vision on you. You cannot see God otherwise. Our intellectual, our material faculties are not enough to see God. And when will God give you his divine darshan? Only when you have that eligibility. So that means you have to have that eligibility, and that eligibility comes when you have perfected your surrender. So seeing God, what was the other one? Seeing God
Knowing
or
God.
knowing God. And our scriptures say the day you know God, nobody, no, our scriptures say nobody can know God. But then they also go on to say only that person can know God whom he does his grace, whom he graces. Right? So the day, and also our scriptures say when you know God, basically you would have realized God. So they are all interrelated. Okay. In order to know God, you need God's help only. You cannot know it through your sadhan bhakti or through your own means that I'm going to do this austerity, tapasya, chanting, read so many scriptures, and I will know God one day. It's not possible. Okay. It's only possible with God's help. And how, when do you get God's help in knowing Him? When you surrender to Him. So you will know God, you would have seen God, and you have become realized God. All are same basically at that sense. Now, if God decides to give you temporary darshan, for some reason that is a different matter. But typically, when you become God realized, then only you see Him in His full glory. At least that's what my understanding from scriptures is, on what little I've heard from Swamiji. Maharaj. Yes.
Awesome. So, yeah, Ravi ji says thank you. So, and Tarun ji, we will, okay, Keshav ji wants to say something. After that, we will go to the testimonials, Nitin ji.
Sure, Keshav ji, let's hear from them. And then I think Tarun ji, and then there's Vinod ji who's going to say something as well. So let's look at that in the, Gita Jayanti is coming up, and they're going to talk about how Gita has been instrumental in their lives and what role it has played. So I'm eagerly looking forward to hear that. Yes, Keshav ji, please go ahead.
And just to mention, for some reason, your video was, okay, now it's better. But if you want to stop sharing screen, we can do that as well. Yes,
Okay.
Radhe Radhe Keshav
All
ji.
right.
Radhe Radhe. Yeah, I was looking for the picture showed. What a coincidence, Nitin ji. About Pani, you mentioned Pani piyo chankar or Guru karo jankar. Only today I was doing meditation, focusing on Pani. I don't know why and how. So what I got was, drink water like you are eating, and eat food like you are drinking. That is another aspect of this Pani. Anyway, coming to the issue. Yeah, so like, again, I'll go for chapter 15, shloka 15. Sarvasya chaham hirdi samnisto matta samritir jnanam apohanam. Like here, he has clearly said, he doesn't reveal his physical form. He gives the jnana. Like Guru, I respect all the Gurus. I have about 70 Gurus in my life who have come. And I am not satisfied, but I'm focusing on Gyan, what I'm getting from each and every Guru. And guess what? Ultimately, I had to, and everyone has to go and read Gita by himself. Doesn't matter if you have to read other commentaries. And then you will feel and know and understand. And my knowledge has gone even beyond this Brahman. Even this Brahman is, what is this Brahman? Okay, I tell you. For me, my understanding is, this Brahman is a, जैसे हम छोटे होते थे ना, तो हम देखते थे एक जाल गोला बनता था, उसमें मोटरसाइकिल चलाता था एक आदमी, मौत का कुआं. और यहाँ पे मैंने अमेरिका में देखा, कार चलाते हैं उस बड़े स्फीयर में, तो मौत का कुआं ही है वो. एंड दिस ब्रह्मांड इज मौत का कुआं. मृत्यु संसार सागरा, चैप्टर 2. मृत्यु का सागर है पूरा संसार, होल ब्रह्मांड. इट इज ए डेथ सेल. एंड वेयर इज पुरुषोत्तम कृष्ण? Out of this millions of Brahmands of the same size, the one we see. This is the information, knowledge I am getting. Radhe Radhe. I'll not take more time of yours.
No worries. Thank you, Keshav ji. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Count is still on. I would say you will hit a century very soon with gurus. But yeah, thank you for sharing that experience. The Tatre, by the way, he had 24 gurus. So you've already exceeded the Tatre in that sense, right? Yeah, I think shifting gurus and having multiple more gurus, that's not a, our scriptures are, there's no nishhed or don'ts. It's not in the don'ts category for sure. But yeah, eventually it will come to a point, then you will settle for somebody. And if it doesn't, that is also probably part of the journey. Only God would know that. But it's very heartening and inspiring for us to know that you do so much of Swadhyay, your own study of Bhagavad Gita, and you keep sharing the insights that you generate out of it with all of us. So thank you so much for that. So with that said, over to you, Tarunji.
Yes, Tarunji. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe to everyone. Yeah, so I'll start my journey. I would say that there was definitely some spiritual quest in my life. From the very childhood days, there has been as every mostly homes, Sanatan homes, there is a tradition of doing puja. So that used to happen every day, morning and evening, and that was a kind of forceful from my parents. Even if we don't, they used to ensure that they are doing daily puja. So we used to do that. But there was something deepening with me was that I'm telling about, I think around fourth or fifth standard, that somehow I used to sing bhajans even while I'm sitting alone doing the puja. When all the daily aartis has been done, then I'll extend my bhajans around 30 to 40 minutes. So that's how I think there was some spiritual thing in my life. But as I grow older, get into other higher education, then get into the jobs, that I think got started fading. And then it become busy with the daily usual life, and not much apart from just 2-3 minute puja, not much of that interest. Then somehow I think I got into some content on the YouTube. I was watching a video from Sarup Priyananda, if you would have heard. He's a Vedanta teacher, very, very profound teacher. He teach, I think, in many IITs. There was a content, Who Am I? And I think somehow tried to connect. I like that, but as I try to get deep into it, it start bouncing off. Because that is a kind of monoism or the non-duality concept I could not connect much, but that's how I think then I got to know about the Upanishad. I bought the whole 12 Upanishad set from Chinmayananda. I tried to get that, but somehow that dots were not connecting a lot. And then I think I got into the ISKCON. There was totally different from non-dual to duality, and so what I was feeling a bit bit different thing is that everyone is saying their philosophy is better. This is the non-dual say they are better than dual. Dual say they are better than non-dual. So that way, whichever philosophy I saw, they खंडन and मंडन जिसे हम कहते हैं. And then somehow I connected to I think one of the Swamiji video, and there I somehow connected to the JKU page, and then I think enroll to this class. And then somehow the started getting a bit of that I'm feeling that dots are being connected here. There is not much of Khandan Mandan here. There is not much of our philosophy is better than their philosophy, and their philosophy is better than our philosophy. And as I as I connected with the class here, and I remember the one of the I think that was not in the Nitinji class, but since I am when I find something is interesting, then I try to get into the deep of whatever all he has taught. So I found his playlist on the Brahm, Jeev and Maya. That I think 7 or 8 lecture series, Brahm, Jeev and Maya. There the way Nitinji has explained everything as his usual style of presentation, charts and graphs, and that I think connected me quite a lot, and that has helped me a lot. And since I think there was you can say a post spiritual journey, and that I think I feel that I have resumed that, and since then I have I am just moving on to that journey. Just one piece of it from the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita is definitely, I think, has become my passion. I do read a lot, whatever I can get, and then I have understood that where the Bhagavad Gita push you, then you need to basically you need to understand that Bhagavad Gita tells you what to do. Then how to do or how to progress on that path is where the Srimad Bhagavatam starts. So I have started on that bhakti part, or the Srimad Bhagavatam basically, and yeah, that's how my journey is has resumed now with the help of this and with the help of the Nitinji explanation. Yeah, so thanks a lot for all this. Yeah, I'll maybe share something more later, but yeah, for now,
Thank you, Tarunji.
this has become quite a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for walking us through with your journey, how it started. So I could relate to your initial years like you were talking about. So, but thank you so much for sharing that. I'm glad that now the different pieces have started falling into place and you are really getting into the gist, right? Even Bhagavatam aspect of it. We love the way you sing the bhajans, and it's good now that you're approaching this with a lot more certainty and assurance, because the theory aspect, the foundation aspect is getting you're getting a firm footing on that. So that is great. So thank you again for sharing that, Tarunji. Loved every bit of it. Vinodji, go ahead, please. Okay, I see a couple of hands. We have Vinodji. Let's hold off the hands, let Vinodji complete, and then we'll come back to the hands as well.
Like one quick question actually from Samji was, what is the temple in the background of Tarunji? He was pretty curious to know.
Is it Prem Mandir?
Yes, yes.
It's Prem Mandir, right? Yeah, it is Prem Mandir in Vrindavan, Samji.
Established by Maharaj Ji.
Kalaji Maharaj, he built that. It's a beautiful, If you go there, I think I have not seen Taj Mahal, but people say it's more beautiful than that. So please go check it out.
Awesome. So over to you.
One new face today, Archizman Lal Seal. Good to see you. Where are you joining us from? That's your son, Ipsita ji? Okay.
Yes, yes.
What do you do?
She's my mother. Resident class 10.
Okay, I'm good. That is pretty impressive. You're starting. Your mom is very inspiring, and you have an uncanny resemblance as well. So could make it out. So welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Vinodji, all yours now. I don't want to steal your thunder. Please go ahead. And may I have the liberty of telling that it's your... Okay, go ahead. Maybe later I'll do that. Go ahead.
Later. Don't take my thunder away. So there are, because time is short, so I'll be brief. There are two things that I want to talk about. And one is Jagadguru Kripalu University, and the other, of course, is Bhagavad Gita. So as you know that JKU is a passion of Swamiji. He's doing all this for the underprivileged. So right now we're having some challenges as far as lack of funding to get the project going. So what I want to do is bring forth a young lady who is using innovative skills to show how she is participating in this event. Sandhya ji, please.
Yes, I'll play it now. Okay.
See the little videos I took too of you created. They're really good.
Blue, blue, blue. Radhe Shri Radhe.
I would black you guys.
You can do. Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Very,
The
very.
melody with all those sparkles and beautiful. And so Sandhya ji, please, the next one also. Let's go and see what we did at Radha Kunj on Swamiji's birthday.
Yeah, just sharing it. Okay, I will share more, I guess. Pictures?
If you can, please.
Yes. Wait, do you see any picture right now?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, and there are more pictures. I'll stop sharing this and share others.
So by the way, yeah, go ahead. Okay, I'll add later. Okay, go ahead. I almost feel the urge to speak, but I'm holding myself back.
Yeah, please do hold. Okay. Please hold.
I'm holding off. Yeah, please go ahead. What else are we seeing now?
Sandhya, are you showing us?
Yeah, there are so many pictures. I'm a little lost, but I will wait.
That video you can show.
Oh, video? Okay. Another video.
Tilt your hand like that. Yes, nice. Very good.
I can't see it.
About
Sandhya?
30 to
Can't
40.
see that.
We are not seeing it.
Oh, okay. Is it? Sorry. But you could hear the same video you want me to play, right?
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's okay.
No, I can. It just.
I'm
Sandhya, it's
going
okay.
to
Let's meet the artist now. Okay.
let's meet the artist now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this name is Devna Desai. Devna, kya cho tame?
Okay, they are here.
She is here, Devna.
Yeah.
Hi,
Dev
Radhe
Desai.
Radhe, Jai Shri Krishna.
Radhe Radhe, Jai
Yes,
Shri
she
Krishna.
is.
That was a lot of creative work, Devna. So keep it up. And good to
So,
see you. Thank you for coming to our session.
Thank you
so
for
let me
having
tell you a little bit about Devna and Lakshay there. Devna is a new devotee at Radha Kunj. And so few weeks ago, she demonstrated her talents. And then, so what she's doing now is that she is using those talents. Now she wants people to come forward. And when she heard about JKU, fundraising, so that is her way of fundraising, and all the proceeds are going for that. So I just wanted to highlight this, how a young person is using her talents to raise funds for the passion of Swamiji. So hands to you, Devna.
Thank you so much, Devina. I think it directly translates to what we've been talking about. Whatever we bring to the table, if we can dovetail it towards the service of God, there cannot be anything more purifying and auspicious. So keep it up, Devina, and wish you the very best. And I'm sure our paths are going to cross very soon. That the fact that you're in US, maybe in one of the retreats or somewhere, but thank you so much for that. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. It's their grace. I have eyes, I have hands, my
Wow.
senses because of them, and it's just gratitude to our teachers and
Thank you, Devna. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so
So
much, Devina.
now I want to acknowledge, Nitin, you said a few days ago that you are celebrating 3 years of doing this seva. And I want to share my experience with Bhagavad Gita. The first time Bhagavad Gita I was ever involved with was the Bhagavad Gita as is by Swami Prakasha Prabhupada. And I tried to read it as much as I could, but I could not understand. Maybe I wasn't ready for it, but it was not something I could. But then Minuji was online and she said, there's this guy here who's putting all these diagrams and explaining all these things. So I said, okay, let me check it out, who this dude is with his PowerPoint presentations. And this guy is logical like Swamiji. So we started watching this and had to adjust our dinner hours to accommodate. So we have been followers of this, and this is my exposure to Bhagavad Gita, thanks to you. And then, of course, first time in my life, I'm understanding, I've heard about Bhagavad Gita, but now getting to the nitty gritties. And your knowledge of all this is tremendous, I must say that. I know you're a very humble person, but your knowledge is tremendous. So then, of course, the other thing, beauty about your thing is you do your thing about soup and main course and dessert, and then you do the kirtan portion, which it caters to everyone, increasing that spirituality. And so the thing that, and then of course we have the weekly sessions where we get the revisions of this data with the Kahoot. And there was this one very, shall we say, persistent young lady who got me involved with this, and now I'm hooked onto it. Chicky, I don't know whether she's on tonight or not, but thanks to her, I'm looking forward to that Kahoots. It's a very good revision. So thanks to you for getting me involved with getting this knowledge of the saints. So appreciate all that you have done for us. I do have a question for you, though. When you started this 3 years ago, what was the circumstances and how did you happen to choose this day?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. So I'll tell you what happened. So we met Swamiji about 8 to 10 years back. And at that time, Swamiji had told me to start with Bhagavad Gita classes. Okay. And I was like, that kuch shraddha, kuch dushta tha in that phase, basically. I said, Swamiji, this, that, I have my studies, job is so hectic. Oh my God, it takes my time and this, that. I gave a lot of excuses. I did not do it. But then one good thing that I did was I started attending the Bhagavad Gita classes. Okay, somebody else took the initiative to facilitate that session. Okay, so we would just go in a study group and read it. I continued it, and a lot of Vedantis income. So that continued. But what I came to know about is Swamiji's words, even if they don't come true today, divinity has to support it. Okay, so then when COVID came, he asked me to start with the Bhagavad Gita sessions. And then again, my lower nature kicked in. I said, Swamiji, Bhagavad Gita, daily. He said daily sessions. I think twice a week or once a week. I think it will be good because there are already so many sessions going on. Who will come? I said on a daily basis. That too, if we do it. He said there is demand. You start with it. I said, all right, let's get started. Then we had to pick a date, and I said, okay, let's do that. I think it happened around 15th or 16th December. And they said next week. I said next week, and then I said New Year's, give me at least a couple of weeks, right? And then they said that, okay, let's launch it. And then you can always start formally from New Year's, after New Year's. And that is how it happened. If you ask me, I had no plan. My feet turned cold. I said, okay, let me just take a leap of faith. I was told that when God and Guru have to grace you, they give you seva. I said, okay, let me take a leap of faith. Swamiji had said, just do your best. God and Guru will pull you through. I said, okay, let me experiment and jump into it and see what happens. And no plan, no backup plan. What is going to happen if I'm not, I'm traveling? What is going to happen if my work pressure increases? What is going to happen if I'm not ready on a given day? No plan. I just jumped into it, and I would plan for a couple of sessions in advance. Okay, 1 week. Okay, 1 week is gone. Another month is gone, and that is how I used to plan. So this is how it started unfolding. But after a couple of years, now everything is kind of, with God and Guru's grace, has started falling in place. I've got a wonderful set of participants, a wonderful set of volunteers who help and run it on a day-to-day basis, whether it is creating summaries, creating presentation slides, giving me those summaries, as you see, that even the flyers, running the Insta, the video channel and all that, everything has started falling in place. But this is how it started. I basically resisted to initially start with, but then I took a leap of faith and say, let's see what happens. And I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I did not talk myself into doing it twice a week. I committed for an everyday thing, and that's the best thing that has happened to me. I must say that. And thanks for God and Guru's grace. And I should thank each one of you for, making it the way right now. So
It's a tremendous effort on your part and your teams, and we appreciate all that. And it takes a lot of dedication, and then we always wonder what to do on Fridays now. But anyways, there's one more thing I need to share with you.
Fridays, I'm thinking about Monday. So this is what happens. Swamiji has put a very nice vessel on my time and my thoughts, which is good. Of course.
One last thing I want to share, Nitin, is that, our Guru Swamiji is so humble, and his amount of knowledge and everything that he has is so beyond anybody can comprehend. And I have something that I have taken liberties with him to say, Swamiji, very humbly, I would like to say there's one thing that I am very close to you. And that happens to be that I tell him that he is only one day older than I am.
So happy birthday. I was holding it back for so long. So thank you for. Oops.
But thank you for
So, oops.
choosing that
I was
day.
holding
It
it back
happened
for
to
so
me. I
long.
don't know what the connection is, but I'm very humbled by that
Thank you.
date that you have
I
chosen.
wish you very, very happy birthday, Vinodji. You are a big inspiration for all of us. The amount of enthusiasm you have, and it's very palpable. And I personally take a lot of inspiration from you and both Minuji as well. You guys are always on, never off. Okay, no matter what you are doing, which is outstanding. And one trivia I would tell you, if you know Rajkumar, who is Rajkumar, he is, or who he is, he's known just because of, Mr. Meenu Kapoorji, which is Vinod ji. He did not decide to jump into Bollywood. Okay. If you see some of his pictures, it'll take you back to 70s, 60s, and I'm glad you did not make it to Bollywood. That's why you are here. Otherwise, you would have gone Raj Kapoor way, maybe more than that at that point. But always a pleasure to meet you, know you. And there are very few things in this world that he cannot do, including playing table tennis and tons of other stuff as well. So very, very happy birthday to you and best wishes. And thank you so much for being a constant source of inspiration to all of us. Thank you, Vinodji
Thank
and
you so
Minuji.
much. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you very much for your kind, generous words and for motivating us all through. Okay, I see a new hand. Yes, Arichasman. You have got an interesting name. What does it mean? Please go ahead. You wanted to ask something?
So many birthday wishes coming your way, Vinodji, in the chat. So just wanted to mention that.
So Swamiji is one day older to you, and is he few years younger to you or few years older to you as well?
There was a young lady who said, was it the same year? I said, of course.
That's good to know. Very nice. Wish you a very, very happy birthday once again. Okay, let's move on to Archasman. Go ahead, Archasman. You wanted to ask something or say
Yes,
something?
yes, Nitinji. As you asked what my name's meaning is, it's sun's god Vishnu.
Sun's God?
Vishnu. Yes.
Yeah.
And as you were talking about how Bhagavad Gita changed our lives, I recall one moment it was few months before. I was giving my ninth final exam, and I was really tense at that moment, because of course, it was after so many years in being in the virtual world, and then, after just in a moment when you say you have to go to it online, it's sorry, offline, it's really hard for anybody to do that. So it was really hard for me. But right now I'm not even tensed about a bit of my exams, and just 2 months after I will have my final exams, and it is a really important exams. Just a few, and just in 2 weeks I will have my pre-boards. That is a bit, I'm not even tensed about it, because whenever I am tense about it, one thing that I recall is, don't think about the result, just work, what Shri Krishna has told in the Gita, that is. And after that, my life has changed. Even my father used to think, how will he do boards? But right now, even before 2 months, he's like, yes, he can do it. Everybody's like, yes, he can do it. So my life has changed after reading even a few pages of Bhagavad Gita. So when when I read the entire one, I don't know what will happen to me.
Good. And I can see your mom, she's ecstatic. She's so delighted hearing that. Very nice. It is very empowering. The
Yes.
power of this knowledge, right?
Even just
Little bit
before,
of,
yes,
and it is
saying
said,
something.
Bhagavad Gita, even if you make a little bit of small progress, or you assimilate a little bit of piece of knowledge, it can help you overcome the greatest of fears. Right? Our mind creates so many fears. It can help you overcome the greatest of fears in this life, greatest of
Yes.
insecurities. And it is a great thing. I think
Yes.
all the students, we should probably get that snip and share it. Then students can take a lot of inspiration from what you have said, right? if you can operate with that kind of a mindset before a board exam, what can be more empowering? And that is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. But that means you have to still put in your best and leave to God the
Yes,
rest.
yes, of course, of course. That is
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Loved it.
Thank you,
Your
thank you.
mom is so happy, and thank you for giving him such a good grounding in Vedic wisdom. So, and that is pretty outstanding on your part. Okay, so part of
Actually,
that should be
everything is
posted
God
as
and
well.
Guru's grace. It's everything God and Guru's grace. I have nothing to do over here. I'm just a
I see Krishna's picture being flashed by. Very nice. Keep it up. Our best wishes with you. Study hard and do, well. Thank you. Okay, so please fill out the feedback tracker. I see Keshavji wants to add something. Anything else before we wrap up? I know we have not done our third segment for a while. We'll start with it, possibly next week or from New Year with our Radhe Sham, Shama Sham Geet series that we will do, and we'll give opportunity to everybody to sing that and get the import of so much of deep knowledge that is there as well, in addition to the chanting aspect of it. So we'll start that fairly soon. Real quick, Keshavji, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, this is Radha Kishanji. This I got
Oh,
from
very
Swamiji when he was here in Bay Area, Milpitas, on the inauguration of that temple over here. And I wanted to talk about Tarunji. He mentioned that he started reading Bhagavad Mahapuran. I have met one of my friends whom we meet at least 10 times a year in Bhagavad Gita class. And he has read Bhagavad Mahapuran 3 times already and now reading 4th time. And he is 91 years old. So I'm in close association of people of that, those who are devotees in this field, And he, like when we talked in the last our meeting in Fremont Hindu Temple, Bhagavad Gita class, I was asked to say something because there were 10-15 minutes. And whenever something like that happens, they call my name. So I spoke extempore, So I did say whatever came to my mind with the grace of Purushottam Krishna and the blessings of 70 gurus. So that gentleman told me, Keshav ji, आपका हमें गुरु बनना, आपका चेला बनना पड़ेगा. I'm boosting myself. So Bhagavad Gita is the only I want to focus Bhagavad Gita alone. Because he told me Bhagavad Mahapuran confuses a lot. Lot of stories are there which confuse. But the one I like the best is Naradji's previous life. He was a Manush. He was in Manushya Joni. And the next life he got Naradji because of practicing what he learned from the gurus and practice that. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Keshavji. Radhe Radhe. Always good to hear from you and your appetite and the thirst for all the spiritual things and learnings. I remember our meeting in our Radha Krishna temple. Keshavji came with tons of slide he wanted to show me. That was pretty amazing. I still remember that meeting. So thank you so much for that. You're always super inspiring. Okay, Vinodji, because it's your birthday, you'll have the last word today. Go ahead, please.
Before we hear from Vinodji, can I just make one announcement, Nitinji?
You may not.
Please.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay, so the
please.
thing is,
Let's do that.
if we have a request that if you want to ask any question, please keep your names. iPhone is not allowed. And if you still want to remain anonymous, then only ask it in the feedback tracker. So that it has Nitinji, you want to add something to? Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, please put in your name. Because it's an alibi. The reason for that is twofold. One is we want to know you, right? It's good to put names, if not faces, to the participants. Second is we have people who use that alibi to start posting unwarranted messages as well. Of late is what I've seen. Okay, so if you see some messages coming from iPhone or from even from some names, I would basically that makes it very difficult, right? And then I see some stuff being posted and stuff like that. So then that is an alibi some people are using right now. I don't know why, but that would help us to weed out, people who are genuinely participating and from one who are, trying to disrupt proceedings here from time to time. Yes, Vinodji.
Yes, Vinodji, thank you for waiting. Radhe
Yeah.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. One thing we forgot, Sandhya. Remember, we wanted to show that what Bhagavad Gita means to us.
Oh yes, that we will show tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine.
And actually, thank you for reminding. Tomorrow we are also going to have a group picture, and we are going to record a group wish from Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita group, Bhagavad Gita Jayanti wishes, right, Nitinji?
Thanks for reminding that. I forgot that. Yes, tomorrow we'll take a group picture. Quiz, by the way, there's quiz. There will be a group pic, and then we are going to do Happy Bhagavad Gita Jayanti. We'll record it, say it together, and for Swamiji, we will send it out. It will be a good small thing, from Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita session. So these are 3 things. So be prepared, okay? You can wear your best clothes and wear the best smile that you have because we will take a picture tomorrow. Yes,
Vinodji is already
See,
wearing
everything
the
is
best
happening.
this time.
See, everything is happening around your birthday, right? You are sandwiched between Swamiji's birthday and Gita Jayanti. How lucky are you? So, thank you, Vinodji. Thank you, everybody. Please fill out the feedback tracker if not already. And Radhe Radhe, all the best for the quiz tomorrow. Our quiz participants, they are running on steroids right now. We held them back last week, so nobody can stop them from putting tons of questions tomorrow with quick finger test. Tomorrow we're going to have a rapid quiz because questions are more, time is less. So it's going to be an interesting quiz tomorrow. So all the best to everyone. And Radhe Radhe, good night, good day from my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
See you all tomorrow. Geo.
Thank you. Geo, it cooperated throughout today.
Awesome. Yes.
Thank you. Good night. Good day, everyone.
Radhe
Bye.
Radhe.
Radhe.